All right, welcome back, everyone. There's just before we get started, there's a few things we want to change and add. Specifically, we want to be able to have the player take damage, and right now, you guys might not have this. So to fix this, it's a little buggy right now. So to kind of fix our issue, okay, our body type for our player needs to have gravity affected, and for our collision editor, we need to make sure that it kind of covers the entire body of the player, specifically its feet. Okay, so just make sure we have that, and then additionally for the health, we can turn on the display for these, and that's pretty much it. So now we can see our health bar, and eventually we can die. So go back here, die to our wolf here. Nothing happens, obviously, right? So that's kind of going into the next part of our video is we want to respawn, right? Okay, so let's head over to our entities tab, and this is where the magic will happen. So in our environments tab here, we're going to add some attributes. The first attribute we're going to add is attributes. We're going to add a respawn timer. Now this respawn timer is going to help us essentially just respawn, right? For the regenerate speed, we need to set this to some number. We're going to do 5. And then for the rest of these, we can just keep false and just hit save. And that's it. Now, but now we need to actually make this work, right? So how do we do that? Well, in our player here, or in our world script, sorry, we're going to go to unit death, and we're going to copy this and paste. And instead of a sheep, we're obviously going to now check for homie. So if our homie dies, what we can do is we'll move it up. If our homie dies, I'm just going to delete this. We don't actually need that. We will make, we'll drop items, drop all items, and we can say last triggering unit and just hit OK. And then right above that, we will add a new one that is set player attribute value. And we can go to the attribute value, set the respawn timer of the last triggering, we're going to say owner unit first, and then we will say of a unit will be then the last triggering unit. And as the number, we'll put it as 0. So this will essentially start our timer. All right. So now what we need to do is actually respawn him, right? So what happens when it's full, right? So let's add a new script here and rename this to player respawn. And this will trigger when a player's attribute becomes full. So the attribute we're looking for, obviously, is the respawn timer. So what we can do here is we can actually cheat a little bit and just copy this and paste. And obviously, we don't need any of these below. Yeah, no, we don't need any of these, especially this one. And obviously, instead of health, we're going to look for, yeah, you got it, respawn timer. There we go. So now we add the respawn, or we're checking for the respawn timer. And then once the respawn timer is full, we will simply create, we'll create unit at position. The unit that we're going to create is obviously the homie for the player, but not a tie neutral. We're going to do last triggering player. There we go. At random position in region, but the region we're going to do is entire map region and then facing 0. And that's it. Now, but there is one more thing we need to do. If we actually go back to the player joined, here we have this camera that gets locked onto our player. So we need to copy this and just paste it right under. Okay, we now have our player track on top of our player, and that's it. So now let's give this a try. Let's hit save and republish. Okay, I said to republish and everything, but I realized we are not done because we never assigned that attribute to our player. And we can do that through our player type. So we'll go to human players. Over here in attributes, we can simply add the respawn timer and set this to 100 by default because we don't want it. or sorry, actually, we're gonna leave it at 0. What am I saying? We're gonna just leave it at 0, and yeah, that's it. So let's make sure that we have 5 as a regenerative speed, and yeah, there we go. So now let's save, and then we'll try one more time. Okay, so on the bottom right, we can see the respawn timer is counting up to 100, and once it spawns at 100, I'm alive. And there we go. So we're now alive, and we can start playing our game again, attacking the wolf and killing it. Okay, we now have a pretty cool game, and that's pretty much it. Now, for the next part, we're going to add some resources. So we're going to add a tree, add some rocks, and spawn them in, and able to farm them as well. All right, welcome back. So let's continue on with our resources. So what we want to do first is obviously set up our resources, because right now we don't have any, right? So let's do that. Let's head over to the units, and we will create a new unit, and this will be a collider object. We can head over to the name and rename this to rock, and we can go to the cell sheet, upload from computer, and let's upload our rock. Once we've done that and we have our rock here, we can simply say, it depends. We can increase the health if we want. I'm going to actually leave it as 100. The speed, obviously, like that doesn't even matter. We could even just remove it. But also for the collision editor, we might actually want to add this guy, make it a little bigger. Let's maybe say fit rendering. And there we go. Hit save, and then save and reinitialize. And let's do the same thing, but let's actually go to the scripts here and just delete these. I don't need this. And let's duplicate our rock. And make this a tree. We'll upload, whoops, that's a preview. We'll upload our tree. And there we go. There's our tree. Now what we can do is start adding these in spawn. So to do this, we will now need to go to our world script. And in here, we could add it through the maps, and that could actually work perfectly fine. But what we'll do is we're going to add a new action here and simply say repeat X times. Here we can do 20. Actually, let's do like 3 for now, just because our map is starting to get pretty full and we don't have space anymore. We will create unit at position. The unit type, we're going to create a rock first. The player, we're going to do AI neutral. At position, we can simply say random position in region. We're going to pick a random region in the entire map, facing 0, and simply hit OK. And simply copy and paste. Move this to the left. But here, instead of rock, we're going to create a tree. All right, let's hit republish and see what we get. Okay, so now we can see we have some rocks and we have some trees, but there's some obvious issues. First of all, the tree, because we duplicated it, the body type needs to change back to its original values. So let's do that. 5.19, 4.79, and this one will be 12.04. 4, or we'll just do 12, honestly, it's fine. Okay, and from there, we will also go into our collision editor and make sure that this guy collides with everything. And then we'll just hit save for now. Hit save, reapply and initialize. Go back to our tree, go back to the body type, and hit this guy. And make sure it's a little higher. And that seems good. I could even make it a little higher. Yeah, that looks good. We'll hit save and save. Okay, let's do the same thing for the rock. Whoa, the tree is moving. That's crazy. All right, so let's do the same thing here. Move this up. And we will have this. Actually, we'll have it only collide with the items. We don't want these guys to move, actually. So go back to the rock. Or sorry, go back to the tree, body type, collision editor, and turn everything else off. Because units, meaning it will be able to move it. So we'll just leave it as is. Okay. Now we need to actually be able to like mine these guys, right? So how do we do that? Well, in our attributes, we would head over to attributes and we can add a stone attribute. And this one we can have for the max, we can simply do like basically an infinite number. Everything else we can leave it at 0. For everything else here, maybe we can turn on display value there, and that's it. And for the rest of this, you could change the color if you'd like. Actually, you know what? I might as well change it. Maybe let's change it to like a brownish color. That's not really brown, but yeah, let's see if we can get brown. Be kind of like orange yellowish. All right, close enough. Although that should probably be for the tree, to be honest, but it's okay. All right, so same thing for the wood. So we'll do wood here. Initial value 0, max 99999. And then here we can maybe do the same thing, just like a darkish color. Hit save. Actually, one thing I forgot to do, display the value. Save again. And there we go. So now what we can do is, how do we actually mine this? Well, that's where we need to actually bring in collision. So what we'll do is head over to the world script, make a new script, create a script called gather resources. And what we can do is have a trigger that happens when a unit gets attacked. When a unit gets attacked, we will add new action or add what am I saying? Add new action, but we'll say if else. And in this condition, we're going to do a unit type comparison. The unit we're going to check for is a tree first, and then the unit type of the last attacked unit. If the last attacked unit is a tree, we'll do something. Well, what are we going to do? Well, this is actually kind of easy. Let's cheat a little bit and go over here, copy this, and paste this. We're going to set not the respawn timer, obviously, but the wood of the last attacking unit this time, though. Here, we're going to change this to attacking unit because the player is the one attacking. Now, we're not going to do as 0 because obviously that doesn't make sense. We want to do a addition, right? So essentially, we're going to calculate on the right-hand side, we're going to add 1, but on the left-hand side, we need to get the current, like how much wood does our current have, right? So to get the function, we need to say attribute value. We're going to get our current attribute value of the wood of the current player. So we're going to do owner of a unit of the last attacking unit. If you remember, the last attacking unit, we're going to get his wood and add 1. Hit OK. And now what we can do is copy, we'll paste it over here, but we're going to change the tree to stone. OK. And then here, same thing, set the stone, and that's good. All right, let's republish and see what we get. Okay, so again, I keep making this mistake. Hopefully you guys have caught on by now, but we did not actually assign the values, the attributes to our player. We need to give the player stone, initial value 0, that's good, and wood, right? Because we never gave him any of these, obviously. So let's do that, hit save, and close, and just hit play. And I lied, we have to republish. All right, so now we have our values on the bottom right, and we should be able to head over to the tree and start hitting it. And it doesn't seem to be working, so let's check out what's going on. Okay, so I made a little mistake here in the code. Here we're doing the owner of the last attacking unit, which I thought I did, but I must have done it as by accident. So let's make sure we change that to the last attacking unit. All right, so let's hit OK for everything and make sure we save and apply. And let's close and publish and try one more time. All right, so let's go see if we can attack our stone. And there we go. We now can gather resources from the stone. And eventually it should actually die. And we don't have any respawning, unfortunately. So that's kind of it, actually. So for the wood and stone, though, do make sure you add the collision properly. So for the rock,
I did change some of the attributes a little. I made sure that the Z index is on the floor. And for the collision editor, I just changed it to generate collider from here. And again, turn these on or off. But the important one is the items. And that's it. So make sure you have the collision properly set and you should be able to have proper mining. So enjoy, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.